What if everything that feels like collapse in your life right now is not the end, but the signal of a beginning so vast, so luminous, that your mind can barely hold it? What if the very moments that shake you, the nights when you cannot sleep, the days when nothing seems to make sense, are not proof of failure, but the precise indicators that your breakthrough is already vibrating into form? Breathe that in for a moment. You are not unraveling. You are not broken. You are standing in the trembling space where your old self dissolves and your new frequency begins to crystallize. And though it feels like everything is falling apart, what if this falling apart is the sacred choreography of creation itself? Pause. Feel the weight of that possibility, because here is the truth. Before the wave collapses into a single reality, it exists in infinite potential. Before the seed breaks through the soil, the shell must split. Before light floods the horizon, the night must reach its deepest hour. So what if the chaos you are facing, the collapse of plans, relationships, or identities, is not evidence that you are off path, but evidence that you are exactly on it? You are in the liminal space, the threshold between worlds. And right here, right now, your discomfort carries a hidden message. You are closer to your quantum breakthrough than you realize. Imagine this scene with me. You are standing at the edge of a cliff, winds tearing at your clothes, stones loosening beneath your feet. It feels unsafe, unstable, unbearable. And yet, in that very instability, lies the power to take flight. The ground beneath you is shaking because you are not meant to cling to it anymore. What if instead of fearing the collapse, you could learn to read it as a language? The universe is speaking to you not in calm whispers, but in the roar of dismantling. It is saying, the structures that once held you cannot carry the magnitude of who you are becoming. And so, the structures crack, the identities fall, the comfort zones dissolve, not to punish you, not to rob you, but to clear the space where your higher self can finally step forward. Everything collapsing is not chaos. It is sacred order in disguise. And if you can hold steady in this moment, if you can breathe, if you can stay awake to the deeper pattern, you will notice. The collapse is rhythmic, almost musical. It has a tempo, a pulse, a timing that is not random. It is preparing you for alignment. What if, just for this moment, you let yourself imagine that nothing is wrong, that everything cracking open is a prelude, a hidden doorway? Let yourself imagine that the breakdown is the last veil before the breakthrough. Because the truth is, you are not watching your life fall apart. You are watching it rearrange itself into coherence. You are witnessing the quantum shift of your own becoming. And it begins right here, with the collapse. You are in what mystics, sages, and even quantum explorers might call the in-between. Some traditions name it the void. Others whisper of the threshold. I call it the energetic in-between, a realm where your old identity has dissolved, yet your new self has not fully taken form. It is neither here nor there, neither past nor future. It is the moment between breaths, the pause before the music swells, the silence right before thunder cracks across the sky. And this, my friend, is exactly where you are. Think about it. Your old structures, the patterns that once defined you, no longer hold resonance. They feel brittle, outdated, sometimes even suffocating. But the new architecture of your becoming, the expanded self that is already seated within you, has not yet stabilized into form. That gap, that strange suspension, that is the in-between. It feels like floating with no ground beneath you. It feels like being stripped of familiar reference points. Your mind searches for anchors, but finds only waves. Your body longs for certainty, but instead meets a hum of unsteady possibility. This is why you may feel restless, anxious, or even disoriented. You are not malfunctioning. You are between chapters. And every story worth telling has this sacred pause, this moment when the hero is neither who they were, nor yet who they are becoming. In myths, it is the descent into the underworld. In spiritual traditions, it is the wilderness, the dark night, the initiation chamber. But here's what those stories don't always say. The in-between is not a punishment. It is an initiation. You have been initiated into the liminal. Think of it like crossing a bridge suspended between two cliffs. Behind you is the land you once knew familiar, even if it had grown too small. Ahead lies an entirely new landscape, brighter, wider, more aligned with your expanded frequency. But as you walk across the bridge, you are suspended in midair, with only ropes and wood beneath your feet. The winds howl. The drop below terrifies. And yet, the bridge is the only path to the new world. That bridge is the in-between. You cannot skip it. You cannot bypass it. You must feel it, walk it, breathe through it, because it is here, in this threshold, that your old energy decomposes and your new energy activates. And yes, this is why everything feels unstable. Your nervous system is trying to recalibrate to an unknown reality. Your ego is grieving the loss of old identities. Your soul is humming with anticipation of what has not yet materialized. The tension between those layers creates the sensation of collapse. But collapse is simply the skin shedding, the cocoon splitting, the doorway opening. It helps to name this state, because naming transforms fear into recognition. When you can whisper to yourself, this is the in-between, you stop fighting the feeling of being lost. You begin to understand that disorientation is not chaos, it is orientation to a new frequency you have not yet mastered. And as soon as you name it, you also claim it. You declare, I am not lost, I am crossing. Repeat that softly to yourself, as though it were a mantra. I am not lost, I am crossing. Feel how those words soften the grip of panic. Notice how they shift your focus from fear to initiation. Because what you are experiencing is not a void of absence, but a womb of presence. The in-between is not empty, it is pregnant. Pregnant with codes, potentials, and the luminous blueprint of who you are about to become. Yes, it can feel raw. Yes, it can feel like the ground has been ripped away. But look closer. It is not the ground vanishing. It is the ground transforming. You are stepping onto a new terrain, one that vibrates with your next level of being. And here is the deepest truth. The in-between is holy. It is the place where miracles gestate. It is the silence before the new symphony plays. It is the collapse before coherence. So instead of labeling it as breakdown, despair, or failure, you now know the empowering name, the energetic in-between. You can look at your trembling hands, your restless nights, your collapsing routines, and whisper, I know where I am. I am in the threshold. I am in the in-between. That whisper transforms panic into reverence. That naming turns confusion into initiation. That awareness allows you to walk this path not as a victim of collapse, but as a conscious traveler of becoming. And the more you recognize it, the more you will see. The in-between is not your enemy. It is your companion. It is the wise space that ensures you do not drag old density into new light. Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it strips you bare. But in that stripping, it makes you weightless enough to cross the bridge into your next dimension. So breathe, beloved one. You are not unraveling. You are in the in-between. And this is where the magic begins. Now that you know the name of your state, the energetic in-between, let us widen the lens and look at it through the language of quantum physics. Because science, when spoken as metaphor, can illuminate the hidden map of your transformation. One of the most fascinating principles in quantum mechanics is superposition. In the quantum world, particles do not exist as fixed things until they are observed. Instead, they exist in a state of pure possibility, multiple realities overlapping at once, like a shimmering cloud of potential outcomes. A particle can be here and there, up and down, light and shadow all at the same time. Only when measured, only when collapsed into observation, does one reality become visible. Now breathe into this truth. You, right now, are in superposition. The old version of you, the one you've known, the identity you've worn is still hovering in possibility. The new version of you, the one you are longing for, the expanded self is also present, shimmering like light on water. And in this moment, both exist simultaneously. That's why it feels confusing. That's why you feel stretched between worlds. You are not only living one identity, you are living the echo of the old and the vibration of the new at once. You are in superposition, where collapse has not yet chosen one form. Imagine yourself as a prism suspended in sunlight. The light passes through you and refracts into countless colors. Each beam of color represents a possibility, a timeline, a version of your becoming. They all exist in you, as you, around you. None is more real than the other until you choose, until the wave collapses into form. That choice may not look like a single dramatic decision. Sometimes it is subtle, invisible, gradual. Sometimes it is as simple as breathing through the discomfort instead of resisting it. Sometimes it is holding the frequency of trust for one more hour, one more day, until the probabilities tilt toward alignment. Superposition shows you that your collapse is not the end of possibility, it is the womb of infinite possibilities. The reason everything feels unstable is because your energy field is literally holding overlapping states at once. Your nervous system tries to cling to what is familiar, while your soul sings to what is emerging. That tug of war creates friction, and friction feels like chaos. But chaos is simply the orchestra warming up before the music begins. Think of it this way. Right now, you are like a symphony where every instrument is tuning at once. The strings hum, the brass blares, the percussion thunders. None of it seems coherent. And yet, this discord is not failure. It is preparation. The chaos is temporary, because when the conductor lifts the baton, everything will collapse into harmony. Superposition means you hold both the discord and the harmony inside you. You hold endings and beginnings in the same breath. You are not wrong to feel stretched, shaken, or uncertain. You are simply quantum. And here's the secret. The discomfort you feel is not evidence of weakness, but evidence of vastness. Only a being as vast as you could contain multiple versions of self simultaneously. Only a consciousness as radiant as yours could hold overlapping timelines without collapsing into madness. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, your mind spinning, whisper to yourself, I am in superposition. I am holding possibility. Notice how that changes the energy. Suddenly the chaos is no longer random. It is patterned. It is quantum. It is the sound of 1,000 doors opening at once. Yes, it feels unstable. But instability is the nature of possibility. If everything were fixed, if everything were decided, there would be no freedom, no creation, no birth. Superposition is the in-between dressed in scientific clothing. It tells you that your collapse is not collapse at all, it is potential waiting for coherence. It tells you that you are not unraveling, you are multiplying with possibility. And eventually, when the time is right, when your heart aligns with your soul's trajectory, the wave will collapse, the probabilities will resolve, the symphony will begin. But until then, you are allowed to dwell in this shimmering cloud of potentials. You are allowed to breathe here, to explore here, to trust that being stretched between worlds is not a mistake. It is the quantum signature of your becoming. You are not broken, you are in superposition. And that, beloved one, is the most sacred place you could ever stand. Now, let us take everything we have explored, the collapse, the in-between, the quantum state of superposition, and turn the lens in a new direction, because the way you interpret this moment is everything. Here is the reframe. Discomfort is not proof that you are failing. Discomfort is proof that you are growing. Let that sentence echo inside you. Feel how it shifts the entire story. You see, the human mind is conditioned to associate stability with success and discomfort with danger. When things feel easy, flowing, predictable, the mind whispers, yes, this must be right. And when things feel shaky, disorienting, or even painful, the mind panics. Something is wrong. I am off track. But in truth, the opposite is often the case. Think of the caterpillar dissolving into a formless soup inside the cocoon. From the outside, that looks like collapse, doesn't it? The structure breaks down. The creature loses all sense of what it was. But to call that collapse failure would be a tragic misunderstanding. Because what is really happening is the most extraordinary transformation, the birth of wings. The same is true for you. Your discomfort, the restlessness, the unease, the sleepless nights, the sensation that your life is falling apart is not the signal of death. It is the trembling of metamorphosis. You are not failing. You are forming. Pause and let that truth land. Every breakthrough has a contraction before the expansion. Every birth has labor before life emerges. Every new chapter begins with a page torn from the old. Discomfort is not the absence of progress. It is the pulse of progress. And here's what is even more powerful. Discomfort means that you are not repeating old patterns. Because the old was comfortable, predictable, numbing. The fact that you are uncomfortable means you have already stepped out of your old loop. You are no longer rehearsing yesterday, you are rehearsing tomorrow. So when the discomfort rises, Instead of saying, "This is wrong," whisper to yourself, "This is the signal. Growth is happening." Your body feels it as restlessness because energy is moving in new pathways. Your emotions feel it as agitation because old emotions are leaving their nests. Your mind feels it as confusion because it cannot yet map the new terrain. But underneath all that sensation is a deeper truth. Your frequency is recalibrating. Let's return to the quantum metaphor for a moment. In superposition, infinite possibilities exist. But in order for one possibility to crystallize, the wave must collapse. And that collapse is not gentle. It is an event. It is a rupture. The infinite squeezes into the finite. And in that squeezing there is tension, friction, even chaos. That is what your discomfort is. The moment of collapse, the moment where potential condenses into reality. So instead of seeing discomfort as danger, see it as evidence that reality itself is reshaping around you. The collapse is not punishment. It is creation. This reframe changes everything, because suddenly, every anxious thought becomes a signal. Oh, my old wiring is dissolving. Or every restless night becomes a message. My energy is being rewoven. Every collapsing relationship or career structure becomes a mirror. The new foundation is arriving. Discomfort is the sound of growth. And once you embrace that, once you stop fighting the sensation, you unlock a hidden power. You begin to ride the wave instead of resisting it. You stop exhausting yourself with the question, "What's wrong with me?" and begin whispering, "Something new is being born in me." And feel the difference in your body when you shift that story. The panic softens, the chest opens, the nervous system, though still humming with energy, starts to recognize the pattern as safe, because it is safe, not always comfortable, but safe. Safe in the sense that you are being guided, expanded, upgraded. So let this become your new mantra in moments of collapse. This discomfort is not my enemy. It is my signal. It is my growth. Say it aloud if you can. Whisper it into your hands, into your breath. Repeat it until the cells of your body begin to recognize the truth. Because you are not unraveling. You are recalibrating. And the discomfort you feel is the unmistakable evidence that you are standing on the threshold of your quantum breakthrough. Now that you've reframed discomfort as a signal of growth, let us soften into the question, how do you move through it? The truth is, your next step is not about forcing or fixing. It is about allowing. Allowing the collapse, allowing the uncertainty, allowing the in-between to be what it island. Because when you soften your grip, you create the space where transformation can land. So let me guide you gently through this moment, like a hand on your back, steady and warm. First, breathe. When everything feels like it is spinning out of control, your breath is the anchor that brings you back to center. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting the breath expand your chest. Exhale gently through your mouth, releasing the pressure, the panic, the tightness. With every breath, you are reminding your nervous system that it is safe to be here, safe to not have all the answers, safe to be in transition. Second, attune. Begin to notice the subtle currents of energy moving through your life. They are everywhere, tiny sparks of synchronicity, a conversation that arrives at just the right moment, a dream that leaves a residue of meaning in your heart. Attunement is simply listening more closely, softening your focus so that you can sense the whispers beneath the noise. The universe is not silent. It is constantly humming, guiding, nudging you forward. But you can only hear it when you attune, when you stop forcing and begin to feel. Third, witness. Instead of fighting the collapse, become a witness to it. Watch how your old structures fall away. Notice the patterns that no longer fit, the beliefs that no longer resonate. Witness them with compassion. You do not need to rush to replace them. Simply acknowledging them as complete is enough. By witnessing, you become the observer, the one who holds space for the unraveling without being consumed by it. Fourth, harmonize. This is not about controlling the chaos, but about finding moments of resonance within it. Play music that lifts your spirit. Spend time in nature, where the rhythms of wind and water remind you that life always moves toward balance. Speak words to yourself that align with your becoming. I am safe. I am transforming. I am guided. These small acts of harmony ripple through your field and create a stabilizing resonance that helps you move with the current rather than against it. Fifth, allow. perhaps the most powerful guidance of all. Allow yourself to be exactly where you are. Allow the not knowing. Allow the discomfort. Allow the sensation that everything is collapsing. For when you allow, you stop resisting, and resistance is what amplifies suffering. Allowance is surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of opening your palms to receive what is already arriving. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a storm. The winds whip around you, the rain pours down, the thunder cracks. You cannot stop the storm, but you can open your arms, lift your face to the sky, and let the rain wash you clean. That is allowance. That is trust. And here is the miracle. When you practice these soft verbs, breathe, attune, witness, harmonize, allow, you shift the very frequency of your being. You move from panic to presence, from resistance to receptivity. And in that receptive state, the quantum field responds. Possibilities align. Breakthroughs approach. The collapse begins to reveal its hidden pattern. So let us practice together now. Close your eyes for a moment, wherever you are. Inhale deeply, hold, and exhale slowly. Whisper softly, I am safe in the in-between. I attune to the whispers of my becoming. I witness the collapse with compassion. I harmonize with the rhythm of life. I allow myself to transform. Feel the resonance of those words move through your chest, down into your belly, out into your energy field. Notice how your body responds, shoulders loosening, breath deepening, heart softening. This is how you walk through collapse, not by forcing, but by flowing, not by clenching, but by opening, not by rushing to escape, but by staying present in the in-between with grace. And the more you practice this soft guidance, the more you will notice. The discomfort does not disappear immediately, but it changes texture. It becomes less sharp, less terrifying, more spacious. It becomes the kind of sensation you can carry, the kind that even teaches you. Because collapse is not here to destroy you. It is here to reshape you. And when you meet it with breath, attunement, witnessing, harmony, and allowance, you turn what once felt unbearable into something sacred, something transformative. So remember, you do not have to rush, you do not have to fix, you only need to soften, breathe, attune, witness, harmonize, allow, and in doing so, you will discover that the very collapse you feared has become the cradle of your quantum breakthrough. You've learned how to soften into the in-between, how to breathe, attune, witness, harmonize, and allow. Now let us deepen the lens once again and return to the language of the quantum, because the field of physics gives us metaphors so profound that they can reframe your entire understanding of collapse. This time, we turn to the principle of wave function collapse. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in a state of superposition, many possibilities all at once, as we explored earlier. But when an observation is made, when the system interacts with the world, the wave collapses. Suddenly, from infinite probabilities, one outcome crystallizes. This moment of collapse is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the mysterious instant when pure potential condenses into reality. And that is exactly what is happening inside you. The collapse you are experiencing in your life is not random destruction. It is wave function collapse. Your energy, your choices, your alignment with truth bringing infinite potentials into coherence, into form. Think of it like this. Before the collapse, the possibilities of who you could be are endless. You could remain the old self. You could step into the new. You could even dissolve into countless alternate versions. All of these probabilities shimmer around you like a field of stars. But when you breathe, attune, and allow, your field begins to lean toward one coherent outcome. And then, suddenly, collapse happens. The wave crystallizes into one expression, the next version of you. Does it feel dramatic? Of course. The transition from infinite to finite always island. It's the narrowing of the funnel, the focusing of the lens. And in that focusing, everything that is not aligned with your highest possibility dissolves. That dissolution is what you feel as loss, chaos, endings. But in truth, it is precision. The quantum field is stripping away the infinite versions that no longer serve, collapsing them into the one path that vibrates with your soul's signature. So what looks like collapse is actually selection. What feels like destruction is actually birth. What appears as chaos is actually Coherence arriving. Imagine a symphony orchestra again. At first, each instrument warms up in random noise, but then the conductor raises the baton. In that moment, all the scattered sounds collapse into a single harmony. That instant is not quiet, it is charged, electric, full of tension, and yet it is the most necessary moment of all, because without collapse there is no music. Your life is that orchestra. Right now, you are in the charged instant of collapse, the sacred narrowing that ensures coherence. There is another way to see this. Think of a camera lens. When the aperture shifts, the field of vision blurs for a moment, shapes distort. The image seems lost. And then suddenly click, it sharpens, and clarity arrives. That blur is the collapse. That clarity is the new reality forming. The same process is happening in your consciousness. And here is the most empowering part. Your observation, your awareness, your frequency is what determines which version of reality crystallizes. The wave collapses not into random chaos, but into the reality that matches your vibration. This is why your inner state matters so deeply. This is why breathing, attuning, witnessing, and allowing are not small things, they are everything. Because they stabilize your frequency long enough for the wave to collapse into alignment. So the next time you feel the ground shaking, the structures falling, remember, this is wave function collapse. Reality is crystallizing. End of 4. Say it softly to yourself. Feel the authority in those words. Suddenly the collapse is not a punishment but a miracle, a cosmic narrowing that is delivering you into coherence. Now, let us add one more layer. There is a principle in quantum physics known as decoherence. It describes the moment when a system loses its fragile quantum state and becomes classical, observable, measurable. In other words, the wild shimmer of infinite possibility settles into the stability of one reality. This, too, is what you are experiencing. You are moving from shimmer to structure, from possibility to embodiment, and the very discomfort you feel is the signature of decoherence, the signal that your energy is stabilizing into form. It may feel like losing magic, but in truth, it is the opposite. Without decoherence, magic could never become matter. Without collapse, your new life would never land. So honor this moment. Whisper to yourself, I am not falling apart. I am collapsing into coherence. This is the deepest truth. Collapse is the portal. Without it, you would remain forever in possibility, never stepping into embodiment. But through collapse, through the trembling, through the shedding, your quantum breakthrough appears. You are not losing ground. You are being delivered into alignment. You now see that what feels like collapse is really wave function collapse, a sacred narrowing into coherence. But let's go even deeper, because there is a subtle trick your mind loves to play in these moments. It whispers, I'm going backwards, I'm regressing, I was doing so well, and now everything is unraveling. This is one of the greatest illusions of transformation, because the truth is this. What feels like regression is actually progress in disguise. Think of a slingshot. To propel forward, the string must first be pulled back. The greater the tension, the further the leap. From the perspective of the stone, it feels like movement in the wrong direction backward, away from the goal. But from the perspective of the whole, this backward motion is the very mechanism that generates momentum. That is you right now. The restlessness, the collapse, the return of old patterns or emotions, these are not signs that you are failing. They are the slingshot pulling back, storing energy, preparing to launch you further than you have ever gone. Progress does not always look like a straight line. Often, it looks like spirals. You circle back to old wounds, old triggers, old doubts. But notice this. You are not meeting them at the same level. You are meeting them from a higher vantage point. You feel the echo of the old, but you are not the same self who once drowned in it. You are stronger now, wiser now, more spacious now. So when the old reappears, do not call it regression. Call it integration. Your soul is not asking you to repeat the past, it is asking you to witness it from your new frequency, to release what is left, to carry forward only the wisdom. This is why so many people give up right before their breakthrough. They misinterpret the spiral. They think, I've fallen back to square one. But in truth, they are standing on the threshold of quantum acceleration. The spiral has lifted them higher, even if the scenery looks familiar. Imagine climbing a mountain on a spiral path. Every few turns you look around and see the same valley, the same rocks. It seems as though you haven't moved, but if you pause and really notice, you'll realize you are seeing it all from higher up the slope. The view is wider, the air is thinner. You are not where you began. You are elevated. This is your life. Yes, the valley may look the same. Yes, the collapse may feel like déjà vu, but you are higher, stronger, closer to the summit than ever before. So here is the reframe. When you feel pulled backward, whisper to yourself, "This is my slingshot. This is my spiral. I am not regressing. I am progressing." Feel the shift in your body when you say those words. The heaviness lifts. The tension begins to carry purpose. Suddenly, what once felt like failure feels like fuel. Progress often disguises itself as chaos because your ego wants certainty, while your soul values expansion. The ego says, "Stay the same. Keep it stable." The soul says, "Stretch, grow, become." And in the tug of war, it feels like you are unraveling. But in truth, you are weaving new threads into your tapestry. Even nature follows this rhythm. The tides pull back before they surge forward. The moon disappears into darkness before returning to fullness. The seasons strip the earth bare before the flowers bloom again. What looks like loss is always the preparation for gain. You are no different. So the next time an old wound rises, instead of despairing, smile softly and say, "Ah, I see you. You are here to remind me how far I've come." The next time life pulls you backward, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I am gathering momentum." Because the regression is not regression at all, it is compression. It is energy concentrating, preparing for breakthrough. Your task is simple. Don't misinterpret it. Don't mistake the slingshot for failure. Don't mistake the spiral for being stuck. Don't mistake the collapse for the end. Instead, hold steady, breathe. Remember that you are in the physics of progress, where backward is forward and collapse is creation. And one day soon, you will look back at this moment and realize, this was not the valley of regression. This was the launch pad of your quantum leap. You now see that what feels like regression is not regression at all. It is momentum gathering, the slingshot pulling back before release. But in these fragile moments, your choices matter. The way you meet the collapse, the way you carry yourself in the spiral, will determine how gracefully your breakthrough arrives. So let us talk about what not to do and what to do instead. Because when everything is crumbling, the human instinct is to force, to hustle, to fix, to scramble for control. But those instincts are echoes of an old paradigm, the paradigm of survival, of pushing, of believing that worthiness must be earned through struggle. And in the quantum field, forcing creates resistance. Hustling scatters energy. Fixing assumes something is broken when, in truth, everything is reorganizing in perfect alignment. So first, hear this clearly. You do not need to fix yourself. There is nothing wrong with you, nothing missing, nothing broken. When you believe you must fix, you send a signal to the field that you are incomplete, and the field responds by reflecting back more incompleteness. But when you choose stillness, presence, and alignment, you signal wholeness, and the field reflects back coherence. So here is your soft guidance. Do not force. Instead, allow. Forcing is like pushing against a locked door. The harder you shove, the more exhausted you become. Allowance, on the other hand, is stepping back and noticing that the door was designed to open inward. It was never locked, you were simply pushing the wrong way. Do not hustle. Instead, be still. Hustle is born of fear. The fear that if you do not move fast enough, you will be left behind. But stillness is born of trust. The knowing that nothing meant for you can pass you by. When you pause, you let your energy gather. You let synchronicity catch up to you. You let clarity find you, instead of chasing it. Do not obsessively fix. Instead, align. Fixing assumes brokenness. Alignment assumes perfection unfolding. To align is to tune your frequency, like a radio dial, until you match the station of your desired reality. You do this not through effort, but through presence, through breath, intention, attention. Alignment is quiet, subtle, and yet, it changes everything. Imagine a bird in flight. It does not flap frantically to stay aloft. It opens its wings, tilts them ever so slightly, and lets the currents of air carry it. That is alignment. That is the art of moving without strain. And this is exactly how your breakthrough will come. Not through exhausting hustle, not through frantic fixing, but through subtle alignment. So how do you practice this in daily life? Begin with stillness. Set aside moments each day where you do nothing but breathe, witness, and allow. Even 5 minutes of stillness is enough to recalibrate your energy field. Then, cultivate presence. Presence means bringing your attention fully to the moment you are in. Notice the taste of your food, the rhythm of your breath, the way sunlight touches the floor. Presence grounds you in the now, and the now is where alignment lives. Next, practice alignment rituals. These can be as simple as speaking affirmations that feel true in your body, writing down the vision of who you are becoming, or moving your body in ways that feel harmonious. Rituals remind your energy field of the frequency it is tuning toward. And most importantly, trust the collapse. Every time you feel the urge to rush, to fix, to hustle, pause and whisper, I choose alignment. I choose stillness. I choose trust. And, because here is the paradox. The more you try to control the collapse, the longer it lingers. But the more you soften into it, the quicker coherence emerges. Remember the seed underground. If it panicked at the pressure, it might push frantically, wasting its strength. But instead, it surrenders to the soil, allowing the earth's weight to crack it open. That surrender is what makes growth inevitable. You are that seed. The collapse around you is the soil pressing in, and your task is not to fight the soil, but to let it split you open. So rest, breathe, align. Let the collapse be the cocoon that prepares your wings. Because when you stop forcing and begin allowing, when you stop hustling and begin stilling, when you stop fixing and begin aligning, you become weightless enough to rise. And rising, beloved one, is exactly what you are here to do. You have walked through the collapse. You have named it, reframed it, and softened into it. And now, beloved one, it is time to rise into the truth that has been waiting for you all along. You are not unraveling. You are gathering momentum. Let that sentence sink in, because it is the heartbeat of your transformation. Everything you have felt the collapse, the chaos, the spirals, the slingshot pulling back it has all been energy concentrating, preparing, storing power for your leap. Picture the bow of an archer. The string is pulled tight, the arrow quivers, tension fills the air. From the outside, it looks like strain, like struggle. But from the inside, you know what's coming. The tension is not the end. It is the exact condition required for flight. That is where you stand right now. The arrow of your becoming is drawn. The tension of your collapse is not a threat, it is propulsion. And the moment you release, you will soar farther than you ever dreamed. Feel that in your bones. Everything that has fallen away was dead weight. Every relationship, every role, every identity that cracked apart was a stone you could not carry into flight. You are lighter now, freer now, leaner in spirit. And though you may feel stripped bare, what is left is pure essence, pure readiness. Do you feel the hum beneath your skin? That is momentum. Do you feel the electricity in the air? That is alignment converging. Do you feel the ache in your chest? That is your wings stretching. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Think of the ocean waves. They recede before they surge. The further they pull back, the more powerful their crash forward onto the shore. Your life is that tide. Every backward pull, every collapse, every stripping away has only been preparing the surge of your quantum leap. And here's the miracle. The leap does not come from outside you. It comes from within. Your very cells are recalibrating. Your energy field is repatterning. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the limits of old identities. You are becoming a vessel wide enough to carry the frequency of your breakthrough. This is why you have felt the pressure. This is why it has hurt. Pressure is how diamonds are made. Pressure is how seeds crack. Pressure is how stars ignite. And you, yes, you are no different. Can you imagine what it feels like to finally burst into coherence? To wake up one morning and feel the old heaviness gone, the old doubts dissolved, the old patterns no longer clinging? To step into a reality that feels spacious, aligned, alive with synchronicity? That is what is coming for you. And you will look back at this time of collapse with awe. You will whisper, I thought I was breaking, but I was building. I thought I was dying, but I was birthing. I thought I was regressing, but I was leaping. Beloved one, your story is not one of decline, it is one of ascent. Even now, the universe is conspiring in your favor. Invisible threads are weaving. People you haven't met yet are being prepared to cross your path. Opportunities you can't yet see are aligning behind the curtain. The timing is orchestrating itself with precision. And here you are, standing in the trembling beauty of the in-between. Do not mistake this trembling for weakness. It is the vibration of momentum. It is the hum of your arrow drawn. It is the quiver before the flight. Say this with me now, as an affirmation. I am not unraveling. I am gathering momentum. I am not collapsing. I am preparing to soar. Let the words reverberate through you, like a drumbeat. This is your truth. This is your power. Because the truth is, you have already stepped into the new frequency. The leap is not ahead of you, it is happening within you. Every breath you take in trust. Every moment you choose stillness over force. Every time you reframe collapse as creation, you are already mid-flight. So hold your head high. Stand tall in the storm. Feel the winds that once terrified you now lift you higher. They are not here to knock you down. They are here to carry your wings. This is not the end. This is ignition. Take one last deep breath with me. Inhale slowly, hold, and exhale gently. Feel the resonance of everything we've journeyed through together. The collapse, the in-between, the trembling of superposition, the wave narrowing into coherence, the slingshot pulling back, the tides receding before their surge. You are not unraveling. You are ascending. The discomfort you've been carrying is not a curse, it is the unmistakable signature of transformation. You are living proof that collapse is creation in disguise. Every crack in your old reality is a doorway through which the light of your new frequency pours. And here is the affirmation I want you to claim, here and now. I have already stepped into the new frequency. My breakthrough is not coming, it is here. Say it aloud. Whisper it if you must. Feel the truth of it in your body, because the quantum field responds to certainty, not to waiting. You are not waiting for a breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. Let your shoulders soften. Let your chest open. Let your breath remind you that you are safe, guided, supported. You are exactly where you need to be. And from this place of stillness, presence, and alignment, the path ahead will reveal itself. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to hustle for it. You only need to stay awake, attuned, and open to the synchronicities that are already moving toward you. Because the universe is not a distant force, it is inside you, as you. The moment you decide that collapse is not the end but the bridge, you align yourself with the rhythm of creation, and that rhythm will carry you forward, unfailingly, into the life that matches your highest frequency. So as you leave this space, take this truth with you. You are not collapsing. You are becoming. You are not regressing. You are leaping. You are not unraveling. You are rising. You've already stepped into the new frequency. Trust it, walk in it, live it. And if this message resonated, if it stirred something deep in your heart, I invite you to stay connected. There are more transmissions waiting for you, more guidance, more activations, more reminders of who you truly are. You'll find them in the next video, in the writings, in the community we are weaving together. Let this not be the end of our conversation, but the beginning of a deeper unfolding. For now, carry this affirmation like a torch. I am already in my quantum breakthrough. 1. And let the light of that truth guide every step you take.